Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we are going to go over the job action trailer one more time for Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. However, this time we're going to take a closer look at my favorite jobs, the melee DPS. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because I wanted to investigate exactly what we were shown in the job action trailer so that we can have a clearer picture of what we're going to get in Endwalker in terms of the usual 5 leveling abilities that we typically get each expansion. At the same time, I will be referencing information that was revealed later on in the live letter, particularly at the job adjustments segment. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. It's free. You can always unsub later. If you find that this video has provided you with value, hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button twice. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. And without further ado, let us be about it. First, Dragoon. We are shown 4 new abilities. The first one revealed is a new 4th part to the current 3-part AoE combo. That is Doom Spike into Sonic Thrust into Carathian Torment, and now the new 4th. They also showed us an enhanced Chaos Thrust, which is likely a trait, and an enhanced Full Thrust, which also is likely a trait. Now, whether one trait takes care of both of these abilities is yet to be seen. That's a possibility. We're shown a new off-global cooldown linear AoE in the vein of Gearskogel and Nastron. I'm calling it Nastgogel for now, or Gearstron, whichever one suits you. 5th, and this is revealed later in the live letter, we're getting a second charge of Spine Shatter Dive. This will probably be a retrofit. Not 100% sure though, so we'll see. 6th, Blood of the Dragon is going to become a trait. This also will likely be a retrofit. And finally, it wasn't shown in the job action trailer, but it was hinted at in the live letter talk segment. After we finish a full combo rotation, we will unlock a new combo finisher. My guess is that it's going to be another Fang and Claw Wheeling Thrust-esque add-on to the entire rotation that caps it off. Okay, some thoughts about what we've seen in Dragoon. A note about Blood of the Dragon becoming a trait. Currently, it's a 1-button formality that is pretty much impossible to lose unless you forget to use it. So, I mean, the duration is the same length. It's even longer than the cooldown of the ability. So pressing it is really pointless. They got rid of it. I approve. Now, if indeed the second charge of Spine Shatter is a new Endwalker trait, then for Dragoon, it's going to be more of the same. You might press 2 new buttons in the new finisher, whatever that is, and the Nastgogel Gearstrond hybrid attack. But overall, like I said, going to be the same. Maybe with some new animations and a little extra potency. A final interesting note that could be game-changing for Dragoon. I noticed in the job action trailers that when he entered Life of the Dragon, he didn't eat both of his eyes. Those 2 eyes were used with the new OGCD. So how that works exactly, it could be flexible. You could get multiple casts. We don't know. But that's pretty much pure speculation. Okay, next we have Samurai. This time we are shown 6 new abilities. Indeed, they're kind of hidden, so if you weren't paying attention, then you probably missed them like I did, and you'll only see them now that we're going over them again. So, first thing was a Yukikaze-esque AoE, which generates Green Sen. Rocking Third Eye now generates 10 Kenki. Third, there's a second charge of Meikyo Shisui, and that was revealed later in the live letter. 4th, a second charge of Tsubame Gaeshi, which could also be a retrofit or a new trait. It looked like there was a different version of Shoha, an AoE version. It used the 3 stacks, the Iaijutsu stacks that you get, and this ability looks a lot like Shoha, but the sounds are different, and the animation is indeed different. I double-checked in game. So it looks like we'll have an AoE version while we're doing Enka Goken. 6th, there is a massive new finisher that looks epic, and nobody missed that. Now, 7th, they're likely retrofitting. This was revealed later in the live letter. They're likely retrofitting the AoE Sen generators Oka and Mangetsu with the Jinpu and Shifu buffs, which is great. I mean, thank God. Because right now, the Samurai's AoE is the worst of the melee DPS. Simply because you have to use a single target rotation, incomplete rotation, to get your buffs up as quickly as possible, and then go to your AoEs, and then they fall off and you have to do it all over again. It's super clunky, and this is a great quality of life buff for Samurai AoE and wall-to-wall pulls in dungeons. Overall, I think that these changes are mind-blowing. I've played a lot of Samurai. It's really crazy to think about what the opener might look like now. Your opening as a Samurai is you move through your buffs, Shifu, Jinpu, you apply Higanbana before Gekko, you Gekko, and then Meikyo Shisui. You use your missing green and red Sen, and then you use Midara Setsugeka, Tsubame Gaeshi, and then you Gekko one last time to fill Sen, and then you go into your regular rotation. But now, you have 2 charges of Meikyo and Tsubame, which means you do that whole opener again. You hit the Gekko, you Shoha. Meikyo, you can dual weave that likely. Use Kasha for your red Sen, Yukikaze for your green Sen. You Midare Setsugeka again, and then Tsubame again. And then you have your super Midare on top of that. So, I mean, Samurai opener is going to be nutty. Absolutely nutty. And that's compared to Samurai right now, which is very middle of the pack. Actually kind of lower, depending on your crits. If you get crits and direct crits on your Midares and your Tsubames, your opening is great. But still not as good as Ninja, who has the burstiest opening, like heads and shoulders above any other class. No other class comes close for as long. And it's like, you know, Ninja's 15 seconds of fame and then it's over. But Ninja's opening is just untouchable. After this, though, I don't know. We'll see. One thing, though, is that I'm not sure how Midare, the super Midare, is gated. Like, how do you use that ability? Is it just an OGCD off cooldown? Or does it require some resource management? Or is it good to go every 2 Tsubames? You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see. Overall, I'm really excited for the Samurai changes. With 2 charges of Tsubame, its rotation is also, in addition to the nutty opener, going to be less rigid. Right now, Samurai's rotation revolves completely around a very strict 60-second timing where you've lined up all of your Sen in your Meikyo Shisui so that your Midare Setsugeka is happening 1 GCD away from Tsubame coming off cooldown, and you use that as soon as it hits 0. You're watching it tick down 3, 2, 1 while you're Midare-ing. And then your GCD comes back up and you hit it. You don't lose any downtime, and you don't lose any potential casts of Tsubame Gaeshi. So, now that that's been loosened with the addition of a second charge, Samurai's rotation has suddenly been freed up. You can throw these things in anywhere. You probably still want to throw them into burst windows if you have like a Ninja or, you know, the new 60-second lineups with like Dragoon and Battle Lightning and whatnot. So with the extra Tsubame charge, the rigidity has been eliminated almost entirely. There was this style of Samurai in Stormblood called Freestyle Samurai, and people are hailing its return and are pretty hyped about that. And so am I. Okay, now we move on to Monk. Very, very exciting looking changes. Yeah, here they show us 1. There's a new Fists of Wind looking self buff. Could be a stance, could be something else. 2, Monk Ethereal Manipulation Plus premium version. 3, a new Oppo form AoE starter that also generates one of those new tokens at the bottom of the chakra gauge. 4th, there is a new Sen-esque gauge underneath your chakra counter, which I just referenced. And you generate tokens in this new gauge when you're in perfect balance. And later on in the live letter, we learn this is called Masterful Blitz. Using perfect balance unlocks the ability for you to use weapon skills that generate these tokens in accordance with what form you're in. Oppo, Raptor, or Koira. 5th, there's a new AoE super finisher, which consumes the 3 stance tokens that you generate. And this generates a light token. This will be named later in the live letter. 6, you get 2 charges of perfect balance, thus more Masterful Blitz. 7th, there's a new single target super finisher that is unlocked after you have generated 1 dark token and 1 light token. And we learn later that these are called the yin and yang tokens. So I don't know if token's the right word. That's the word that I'm using, but that's what they look like to me. So The new addition for Monk, which impressed me most, was the dash. It's basically ethereal manipulation, but better because you can target enemies as well as allies. But most of all, and this has always been an issue, is that this dash doesn't do any damage. I fucking love this because the current shoulder tackle is a great movement option. It's quick, it's snappy. The issue with having damage on a utility dash is that as a player, we're pulled in two different directions. The current shoulder tackle is a great movement option. It's really snappy and responsive. But because it has damage attached to it, I feel like I always need to use it before it caps. Or I want to use the last charge in a burst window. And this burst window doesn't always align with when you actually need a movement option. Or you need to get back to the boss quickly. So I think we really should be saving these options for when they're needed. Not using them for damage. And this new dash accomplishes that. On a side note, I hope Samurai gets the same treatment in the future because right now, not only do they have dashes that have damage on them, which is not an issue for Samurai in particular, but they have Kenki costs, which is an issue. It's not that big a deal because for the most part, movement is simply disconnection into NP and you walk back to the boss. Still though, it could be like this. It could be like a Shukuchi or this ethereal manipulation. As for the Masterful Blitz idea, I think it looks really engaging. It's going to make the Monk a lot busier. Right now, in Shadowbringers, Monk is very plain, and they know that. They said that they were laying the bedrock for a new class for a Monk rework. This is what we're going to get. It looks great. It's a great fucking idea. Boys, gentlemen, ladies, we finally have the Ninja. My favorite class. We saved the best for last. I have been playing it since it was released in A Realm Reborn, but rip that artifact gear. It looks so bad. That's okay because everything else looks awesome. First, we get to see a new standalone GCD, which applies Futon instantly. If it ever falls off by accident, you just hit this and that's it. You don't need to use your mudras in the middle of a fight. It's great. I think for the opening, we're probably still going to use the mudra version of Futon, just so that we don't have one GCD that's slow. But in the middle of fights, get that instant application. And it also generates 5 Ninki, so cool. Second, there's a new interaction. I don't think a lot of people caught this, and I didn't at first. It took me a lot of watching other people's reactions to see this finally and notice it. There's a sound cue for it as well. That is the interaction between Hake Mujin Satsu, the second part of your AoE rotation, with Doton. So if you watch this carefully, when you use Hake on top of a Doton, the Doton gets invoked. And it either does burst damage or does a little extra damage or buffs the Hake, I don't know. Probably going to be a trait. Third, Bunshin, it now doubles our Ninki generation. Doesn't just add 5. So if you look at Aeolian, Edge, and Armor Crush, they each generate 20 Ninki now under Bunshin. Now this will probably be a retrofit. If it's going to be a new trait, that's kind of lame. 5 more Ninki for your finishers. Yeah. I hope it's a retrofit. Now we get to the good stuff. This was so hype. I couldn't believe what I saw. Could not believe my eyes. These look so good. Fourth, we saw a new ranged wind-based GCD that generates 10 Ninki, and it refreshes Huton. It's a straight-up new ability. It might be gated behind Shukuchi. That's what they could be implying by Shukuchiing away. Or they could have Shukuchi'd away just to show us that it's a ranged attack. So hard to tell. In any case, like an extra ranged attack, man. For Ninja. Ninja is like this super hybrid melee ranged DPS. It's so cool. I wasn't expecting this during like the Ninja rework in Shadowbringers. Taking mudras off of the off global cooldown and making them global cooldowns really opened up Ninja's movement options and ranged disconnect options. And it's funny, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I really hated the Ninja rework when it happened. I loved old Ninja, but I took like a 2-year break and I came back and I'm playing this now and I'm like, whoa, this is great. I like it. Still the same Ninja. Okay, and then we get to what people are calling the Chidori, some kind of Boruto reference, which I'm not familiar with, so I'm not going to call it that. The Lightning Dash GCD generates 5 Ninki, and I think it's gated behind Raiton. Raiton, and you unlock 2 melee GCD combos, which is a really cool use of the Raiton. 6, we get the finisher, the Lightning Fist GCD, that also generates 5 Ninki. And this could be a combo finisher, might be standalone, I'm still not sure. Thoughts on pre-pull, probably still open up with a Huton and then hide to reset our mudras instead of opening up with the new Huton applier GCD, simply because we don't want our first GCD of our rotation to be slow. Could be a GCD lost. Honestly, it depends on the potency of that new skill. About the Hake, Mujinsatsu, and Doton interaction, I'm really curious to see how they implemented this, because if all you need to do is have your Hake and your Doton hitboxes in contact, make a Venn diagram with them, then you can really like extend your AoE across a wall-to-wall pull in a dungeon. And I'm pretty sure that the Hake is the same, and it just buffs the Doton to do bonus damage in that instant. In any case, it's really fascinating. I'm looking forward to see how that works out. Now, a note on the new ranged wind GCD that we got. I would be worried about whether that's gated behind Shukuchi if in the current build of Shadowbringers. So they're going to implement a new option where you can cap the maximum range in which you cast ground targeted AoEs, even if you keep moving your mouse beyond that maximum range. So the ground targeting circle is not going to follow your mouse after a certain point. It's going to get locked by a wall. And then you can rough cast your Shukuchis wherever you want without having to be so precise with them like you do now, which is going to save you a lot of brain power and APM and precision so that you can weave it a lot easier and then get off this potential gated wind GCD. And then on top of that improvement, to make it even easier to cast, because right now, when you try to place ground targeted AoEs, you're left clicking, and that's also tied to camera movement. So sometimes if you're not precise enough with your click, you might also introduce a little movement into your mouse. So while you're clicking, you might move your mouse, and then that counts as camera movement, and your ground targeted AoE doesn't get placed. So fucking annoying. Been in the game since ARR, and it's never been fixed until now, finally. Should have been there since the start. But now all you need to do is click Fukuchi again, and it'll recast itself. So click it once, boom, target wherever the hell you want, roughly. Just throw your mouse across the screen for max range, and then click Shukuchi again, and it'll go. You don't need to worry about that accidental camera movement. Finally, the Raiton combo. I'm just going to call it the Raiton combo because I'm pretty sure when you cast Raiton, it's going to straight up combo into 2 new GCDs, which is just so hyped. So hyped. They look so good and they sound so good. I think they might be the best looking moves in the game that I've seen since I started playing this game. Absolutely amazing. And it's a dash that does damage, which I just got done ranting about. But Ninja already has 2 Shukuchi charges, so who cares? Suckers! Man. Long live Ninja. All right, you guys. That's it. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.